purpose of this video is for you, using a trend line, to be able to make a prediction. And another way of thinking of this is, based upon this data, I think this will happen. I have a couple non-science examples to sort of illustrate what you're going to do, and I'd like you to have one of them down. So let's say Dr. Square goes to this guy's store. On the first day, you can see that Dr. Square bought some stuff, and he bought 3 circles and 14 squares. On the second day, Dr. Square bought 3 circles and 12 squares. And on the third day, this gentleman is saying, or thinking rather than saying, he will buy more squares than circles. Now the next example involves Dr. Square and his birthday party. On his fourth birthday, this gentleman brought Dr. Square this. That was his gift. You can see Dr. Square was very, very pleased. Now, on the next birthday, on his 9th birthday, Dr. Square was given this gift. And as you can see again, he was very happy. Then, on his 16th birthday, Dr. Square is presented with another gift. And he says, I wonder what it is, as you do whenever you get a birthday present. And Dr. Square, though, is thinking that it's going to be this. Now, these scenarios, the store, the birthday, and the lab, have 3 threads that kind of tie them together or make them similar, and why I'm using them to talk about. There's a prediction, something that the prediction is based upon, a prediction basis. There is a tool used to make a prediction, and there's a prediction, something, an outcome. In the store, you've got what Dr. Square buys. That's the prediction basis. The tool that is used is the owner's logic. They're the one that's going to, they see what he buys and they think what else he's going to buy. The prediction here, in this case, is what Dr. Square will buy. You can remember, the prediction was he's going to buy more squares than circles. Now, for the birthday, the prediction basis was the old gifts. The tool was Dr. Square's logic based upon his old gifts, and Dr. Square was able to predict what this year's gift would be. In the lab, and this is one we didn't do, or hasn't been mentioned before, you're going to have some data. That data is going to allow you to make a trend line that has an equation, and that is going to allow you to predict a value, a number, a new data point. Now, when we do this for a graph, you have to remember what your independent and dependent variables are, what they represent within your scenario. And let's pretend this is our graph. So we need to know what our independent represented. It could be a lot of things. So that's why we're going to leave it very bland, very general. And you need to remember what your dependent variables are. And then you're going to use that to make a trend line. Here's our equation. Now, let's say we want to predict the x's value for y equal to 10.7. I'm going to scroll down on this screen. So the first thing to do is to get our info. And our info in this scenario is really this right here. We know that we want to solve for y is equal to 10.7. So our info is y is equal to 10.7, and we want to know x. The next step in the format is your formula. And in this case, our formula is this thing. Now, not the r squared value, just the y equal thing. That's the formula we're going to use. So there's our formula. All right. The next step is to substitute and solve, and that's where we take this information, plug it in here, and then write it out. So when we do that, we get this. 10.7 equals this. So now we got to solve it for x. First thing you do to isolate the x is you're going to add that 0.098 to both sides. Rewrite the equation. Then I'm going to divide both sides by that. And that'll give me my predicted value for that y variable.